Hello, hello. Today we have a fiery palette by Sigma Beauty. This is a palette that I somehow found at TJ Maxx for $14.99. I think this has been the only time I've ever seen a Sigma Beauty palette at any of these wholesale places. So I knew, even though I usually would not have bought a palette that is $14.99, especially this small, but knowing the quality of Sigma and the fact that I had at that point never tried any Sigma, like I have Sigma brushes, but I don't have any like of their anything else, their eyeliners, their eyeshadows, any of their other products that are actually like beauty products versus like beauty tools. So for $14.99, if you've seen the Sigma website, you know their stuff is it's pricey. It's a pricey stuff. So when I saw this palette for $14.99, I'm like, I'm sure this palette actually retails for like $30, and this is about half price off, which is not something you usually see on the Sigma website. I feel like they quite frequently tend to have like 30% off sales. But like for $14.99, I thought this would be a pretty good deal and a good way to test whether or not I would like a Sigma product before fully buying in, which ended up not fully working because then there ended up being like a mystery bag, and if you hit a certain price, you also got a big free palette. So I ended up doing that, and now I have other Sigma palettes that I'm really excited to dip into. But this was a really good introduction into Sigma Beauty. I'm hoping that it's been recording. I don't know why it just kind of turned off on itself, but like I said, let's try this out. So this is the Sigma Fiery. This is what the packaging looks like. You can see the label there, but I love how like it's textured and it's shiny and it's pretty, and it tells you like what the swatches and the colors are. It's really pretty. Of course, I think most of them have to do with like warmth. So we have like Campfire, Scorch, Roasted, Summer Song, but then there's other names in here like Paradise and Apricot. So and then on the bottom here, you'll find the ingredients. All of that's down here. And of course, if you remove this, you'll be able to see it even better. But here's the palette, and it's a really cool, simple packaging, and I like this packaging because if this palette did not sell, it does end up at a TJ Maxx, most likely. And you can see the colors, because this is the palette exactly. This goes through. So what you're seeing is actually the plastic on this, because this is the palette. Like, you open this up and this is just see-through plastic, which is a really simple way, and I know ColourPop has adopted this as well. So if they have any other additional extra products there that end up going to a place like Target, or I've seen some ColourPop at like TJ Maxx and like at Ross. So it's a really easy way to create visually what you're getting, because I know a lot of people open them up to look at the palette. I usually will just, if there's a palette I'm interested in, I will Google the palette so I can see the colors, but there's some palettes where it's so obviously already opened. I'm like, I'm just gonna open it and see if it's even swatched, because people be opening these to look at the colors and then they touch it and then they don't buy it. So here's Fiery, and here are my thoughts. So I'm gonna flip this around because there's a bit of a glare on this, but here are the colors. And my thoughts on this is that I am going to pass this on. I really love the little Sigma imprinting in here. We have it's like five shimmers, with 4 of them being more like metallic shimmers and then 1 sparkly shimmer, and then we have 4 mattes. But I'm going to be passing this on. This is a lot more of a toned down look than I usually like, although I like the colors in this. When I was using it, I was like, I can definitely see someone like my mom loving not just the shades in this, but the formula. There's something about this formula that reads very like mature. Like, there's something about this formula that I think would work very well for mature skin. I don't know if it's just like the softness of it. It's like almost to that level of sparkle, but it's also not. So I want to swatch a couple of these. So we have this light shade here called Apricot. This is the lightest matte shade in here, and it's very appropriately named. And then we have these 3 over here, which are so beautiful, like such a great fall. This is a really good fall palette. This is why I pulled this out. But my thing is, I wish Roasted was a tad bit darker. All these colors did fall a little too light for my skin tone. I wanted, like always, I always love something with a kapow. So let's do Apricot, which, by the way, these feel amazing on the finger. So nice. Then we'll do like Summer Song, and then we'll do Roasted so you can see it. I don't want to go too deep in there, but let's swatch. Oh, it moves so well. Here's apricot, which, let's see if we can get it to show up on my skin. It's looking a little light. And then this is a really pretty color, but not dark enough. It almost feels like Summer Song, this orange right here, is darker than Roasted, right? Doesn't it seem like it's a bit darker? Like Paradise is, apricot is too light. This Summer Song is really pretty, but I wish this the roasted shade is a lot more kind of blurred out versus intense, which I think other people would like, but not I. Another thing that I don't really like about this palette is this shade over here called Breezy. It's supposed to be kind of, it's one of the shimmer shades in here, but it's not really a shimmer shade. I consider this shade more of like a, what's it called, like an under brow highlight versus an actual shade, because it's very, like, it's, I don't want to say it's hard panned, but I feel like the purpose of this shade, like something like this, is just meant to put underneath your brow bone, because it's not very intense. It's very, very light. It's very bright outside right now, sorry y'all. I don't even know if you can see it. It's very, very, very light. And this as like an accent, either in your inner corner or underneath your brow bone, I think would be really pretty. But it's not something that I personally really do. So I feel like this needs to go to someone like that. Otherwise, let's do Truffle so you can see what that looks like. And then we'll do this Sun Sprite here, which I was so excited to try because it looks absolutely beautiful. Do you see that shimmer? I tried not to mess up the Sigma press, so you can also see what the shade looks like when it's just sitting there, but also because I wanted to keep the wording. So here we have one of those shades, and this is just like a metallic brown. This is what the other shades are very much like. They're just like a metallic kind of shade. And this Sun Sprite is completely different because this has actual sparkle to it. And the sparkle is very, very, very fine, which again is why I think people with mature skin would really like this palette, because it gives you some sparkle, it gives you a little bit of pizzazz, but not super intense, not super crazy. And because it's so fine, I feel like it would crease a lot less. There's a little bit less of a creasing issue. And it's really pretty. This is a really nice color story. I just think that it's too light for my skin tone. I think the formula is interesting. I think if the formula was a little bit darker, I might have liked it more. But this definitely feels like a really cute little fall moment. I think if this is something that you're interested in, and you think it's going to play well with your skin tone, I would definitely recommend this palette. I'm interested to see what other Sigma products I can use. I know I have some in my stash already, but for this one specifically, this fiery palette, I'm gonna have to pass it on. This is just way too light, but I can definitely see giving it to my MUA cousin. These shades are definitely going to be in use once I give her this palette.